Okay, my name is Tony Gehrig, and I'm running for Fargo City Commissioner.
What are the most important issues in your race?
Yeah, so I think we've all seen that special assessments has risen to the top of probably the most important issue of this election cycle. I think there's a lot of people who didn't know exactly how that system was run. I have taken upon myself to kind of expose some of the things that we're doing. I did the same exact thing with incentives. I did the same exact thing with some of our property taxes. And I'm once again being a vocal voice for the people and telling them how we're using their tax dollars. There are a lot of people didn't know that we were taking money out of that assessment fund at the exact same time that we're telling people we didn't have enough in that fund, and therefore we need more money from them in order to fund the infrastructure. So obviously my plan is to remove the half-cent sales tax from the water and sewer plant. You raise the utility rates up so that they're self-sustaining, and then use that half-cent sales tax that was earmarked for infrastructure as a sales tax for that, and then that way we can totally eliminate special assessments. There are a lot of other issues in the city of Fargo. We have flood protection, and I know you're going to talk about that issue probably later here. But we need police and fire. We have a fire station we need to put in South Fargo, kind of by my house, so it's pretty important to me especially. But we have a lot of those needs in the city of Fargo. What it all comes down to is putting needs over wants. So do we need a $60 million performing arts center at this time? No. A $120 million convention center? No, I don't think we do. But we need streets and roads, we need police and fire, we need to expand our sewer plant, and we need to finish expanding our water plant, and that's generating a lot of dollars for the city of Fargo through selling that to West Fargo, Horace, and other communities.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about addressing the issues you've identified?
Well, I would say that I've separated myself, being the only candidate who's actually had a plan to end special assessments. All the other plans sound pretty similar, because all they really want to do is go back to the 2013 guidance that was ended in 2015. And by the way, I voted against that 2015 guidance, and I was the only one to vote against that, which is why yesterday I voted against it again and went back to that previous guidance. It's better than what we had. But it's not a fix. People in 2013 were upset about specials the way they are now. The people of Fargo feel like they're being overtaxed and underappreciated, and that they aren't having their voices heard. And these things are very dramatic when you live on Broadway or when you live in an area where you're getting hit pretty hard. It's very easy for people without a $20,000 assessment to say, we all need to pay our own way. But I think benefit is a farce. I think that we all benefit from good infrastructure. And I'm the only one that really wants to get rid of it.
And maybe you've already answered this, but what differentiates you from your opponents, and why should someone vote for you? Along
with the special assessments, but I have a proven track record of voting no a lot by myself. When I see that there's something that's wrong, like incentives, for the most part, people vote for incentives pretty much all the time. I usually vote against them. There's very few occasions where I voted for them. And I've exposed why I do that, because it ends up harming the average taxpayer when we give money to some people who are well connected and others who aren't, kind of hold the bag. So I differentiate myself every day on the commission. I find that saying needs versus wants, it kind of seems, there's a lot of people that are out there wanting things that are grandiose, like convention centers and performing arts centers. And that's always fun to stand on those kind of issues. I find myself being the guy saying that those are all great, but we have a lot of needs here in Fargo, and I feel like people get taken aback by that, and then they kind of realize, you're right, we do have a lot of things we need to fund first before we have those really fun things. And I'm not saying we can't have the fun things, but I certainly want to have my toilet flush and my water sprinklers work before I have those other things. So I think I differentiate myself on a daily basis by being the more reasonable, more responsible person in the room, saying, not today, maybe tomorrow.